So today we will start by singing the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4.55 after the pranam prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Rasma Ekatmanavapi Bhuvi Pura Deha Bhedam Tato Tau Chaitanyakhyam Prakatam Adhuna Tatvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavadyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam, which means the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of Lord's internal pleasure giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in identity, they separated themselves internally and eternally. Now, these two transcendental identities, they've again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself.
Hare Krishna, everyone. We welcome all of our dear listeners who are listening to us over YouTube Live, listeners who are with us over Facebook Live, and dear devotees who are listening to us over Zoom, who have joined us over Zoom. We welcome each and every one of you to this day 7 of Sri Karnamrita, where in these sessions of Karnamrita, as we know, we listen to beautiful katha, which is very nectarian to our ears. Kathas from Sri Siksastakam, and then which will be followed by Radha Kripa Kataksha, Gopi Gita, Bhramar Gita, Bhishma Stuti, Venu Gita, and so on and so forth. So, before moving forward, we'd like to announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz session from yesterday. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Amrita Radhika, Anjudi, Vinita Harjani Mataji, Shimanta Dweep Prabhu and Vaijayanti Lalita Mataji, Mitanjali Pradhan Mataji, Meera Bhushan Mataji, Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu and Varshana Chitra Mataji, Hari Krishna Madali Prabhu and Ananga Mohini Gopika.
So, in today's session, we will continue with Sri Shikshashtakam, the 8 teachings of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And this Shikshashtakam is so significant that it is said Bhagavad Gita is the ABC of spirituality. Srimad Bhagavatam is the graduate study, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is like the postgraduate study. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is like the PhD of uh, devotional service, of bhakti, and Sri Shikshashtakam. It comes at the very end of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we can understand it's the epitome of the PhD in bhakti. which we are trying to understand with our little minds. Only way we can understand is with purified minds, when we have the desire and eagerness to apply this Sikshashtakam in our daily lives. So today we'll cover the sixth verse of Sikshashtakam, and today's topic is what actually happened to the Vrajabasis after Krishna left, along with the detailed explanation of the sixth verse of Sri Shikshashtakam.
So, as we know, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu has left us only 8 verses, and which is very, very essential to our devotional practices. And through these 8 verses of Shikshashtakam, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu has revealed his mission and his precepts. So, here's the 6th verse of Sri Shikshashtakam.
Nayanam
Nayanam
galadashrudharaya
galadashrodharaya
vadanam
vadanam
gadgadrudaya
gadgadrudaya
gira
gira
pulakairnichitam
pulakairnichitam
vapukada
vapukada
tava
tava
nama
nama
grahane
grahane
bhavishyati.
bhavishyati.
My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy names? This is the translation of this particular verse.
So as we can see that this 6th verse, Shri, it, according to, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we saw the 9 stages of bhakti. And this 6th verse of Sri Shikshashtakam, it actually signifies bhava, which is the penultimate state. It is the 8th stage, which is bhava, is expressed here in this verse. So bhava, which means loving emotions. So this is what, we understand from this 6th verse of Sri Shikshashtakam.
So Bhava Bhakti has two forms. One is that it's Sudarlabha and it's Moksha Laghu Krit. So when Asakti, which was what we discussed in the previous verse, the Asakti becomes completely mature, it is known as Rati. And another name of Rati is Bhava. When Asakti, when the attachment to Krishna becomes really, really mature, then it turns into Bhava. And this Bhava is the budding stage of the three Swarup Shaktis. It's just in the bud form, not in fully blossomed form, it is in Prema. But in Bhava stage, the buds have started of the Bhakti Lata creeper. And it's in the budding stage of three Swarupa Shaktis, the Sat, Chit, and Ananda, eternality, cognizance or awareness, and bliss. In other words, it is the stage where the three energies sprout. The three energies are Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. And in the heart of the sadhaka, these three energies start manifesting.
Now, we need to understand that what is Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini? Just like in the material world, there are 3 modes of material nature. There's Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Similarly, in the spiritual world, there are these 3 energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini. So these are 3 energies in the material world and 3 energies in the spiritual world.
So in Sri Chaitanya Shikshamrita, not Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shikshamrita by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has explained that the real fruit of sadhana bhakti is prema bhakti. And this prema bhakti has two stages, the bhava stage and prema stage. So right now, before bhava is all sadhana bhakti. But then we now are entering into the realm of prema bhakti with bhava and prema. For example, if prema is compared to the sun, the entire sun, uh, then one can understand that bhava is the initial ray of that sun. Or if prema is compared to a lotus flower, bhava is like the budding stage of that. And this, at this stage, bhava melts the heart of the sadhaka through ruchi, through intense attachments, emotional attachment starts developing. Now, again, as we said, bhava is like the budding form, and this is where it starts blossoming of the wish fulfilling wine of bhakti lata creeper. And this characteristics of this flower, which it's which is in the bud form right now in the bhava stage, is that it's sudurlabha. It's very, very rarely obtained. We continue sadhana bhakti, and suddenly at bhava stage it triggers the emotional love of God. So there are two qualities or characteristics of the sadhaka in the bhava stage. Bhava is sudurlabha, very, very rare, and moksha laghuta krit, which means even liberation seems very, very tiny as compared to this bhava. If you tell someone in the bhava stage of bhakti, hey, I'll give you liberation for free, you'll get liberated from this material world, liberated from the cycle of birth and death, no more birth, no more death for you. Would you take that? And bhava person will say, this is nothing. This is liberation is very dry compared to what I am experiencing in the bhava stage. It's much, much above liberation, this stage of bhava. And even this, like an atomic particle of this bhava, completely destroys the darkness of ignorance from its roots. We were talking about anartha nivritti, taking away the weeds. But if we just cut the weeds, they actually grow back with much more vengeance, much faster, unless we uproot them. Mm. And this bhava is completely uprooting the darkness of ignorance. And it starts, emanates like a charming fragrance, attracting Krishna to us. So far, we were praying, Krishna, please, during chanting, we say, Krishna, please attract me to us. Krishna, you are the supreme attractor, Akarshan. That's what the meaning of the name Krishna is. Please attract me to your holy names. Please attract me to your qualities and form and qualities. But here in Bhava stage, Krishna starts getting attracted to the devotee. The charming fragrance that invites Sri Madhusudana, causing Krishna to manifest directly before the devotee, and we can experience Krishna as the holy name, not in the holy name, but Krishna as the holy name at this stage. Another thing that happens during this bhava stage, that the the quality of I and mine transforms. So everything we see is in relation to Krishna. There is no conception of I and mine, aham mameti. No, we always start thinking, oh, this tree, this flower, it belongs to Krishna. It does not belong to me. And this devotee becomes fully cognizant of this and simply engages in the loving service of the Lord. He sees that everyone is engaging in the service of the Lord, even though they are serving through the material energy. But the devotee sees everything belongs to Krishna. So he's serving Krishna.
So, in this regard, in the context of the sixth verse of Sri Siksastakam, we were reminded that how the Brajbasis of the residents of Vrindavan, they are actually in this penultimate state of not just bhava, but they're experiencing prema. So we thought it very apt to actually speak of the glories of the Brajavasis. So what actually happened to the Brajavasis? after Krishna left from Mathura to Mathura from Vrindavan. Although Krishna, he never leaves Vrindavan. We discussed that Krishna is always present in his bhava form, in his, in his sentiment. He's always present in Vrindavan. But in his physical form, he was definitely absent from Vrindavan. So in this physical absence of Krishna, how did the Brajavasis survive without him? It is said that one time Krishna, he was in Dwarka. And when Krishna was in Dwarka, Krishna, he had at his disposal, he was the prince. He was the crown prince. The king was Maharaj Ugrasen. And Dwarka was the most opulent of all places. It is said that Dwarka did not need lamps to be lighted in the night. The shining, the shine of the luster of the gems, the shine of the pillars, the shine of the jewels that were adorned all around Dwarka was enough to light it up. That was the opulence of Dwarka. And Krishna, he had 16,108 wives, and he had 10 children from each of his wives. And Krishna was, with his father Vasudev, with his mother Devaki, with his brother, Dauji Balaram Maharaj was there. Everyone was there, but Krishna, every evening, he would sit and cry in his chamber. Krishna would sit and cry. Literally, he would sit and cry. And one time, Uddhava, who is actually one of the relatives of Krishna, and from his childhood, Srila Prabhupada explains that Uddhava was such a great devotee. He was the student of Brihaspati himself. He was such a learned scholar, and he was such a wonderful devotee of Krishna. He actually grew up playing with toys that were, Krishna. That was the consciousness of Uddhava. Very, very devoted to Krishna. And then he knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uddhava knew that. So Uddhava one evening came to Krishna's chambers and he said, "My dear Krishna, why are you crying? You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is above any kind of attachment. Why do I see tears in the eyes of the Parabrahman? You are Parabrahman. You're the Supreme Absolute Truth. How can the Supreme Absolute Truth cry? Why are you crying?" And Krishna said, "I just miss my dear Vrajabasis," Krishna said. And then Uddhava said, "Well, that's just attachment, Krishna. You should not be attached in this way. There's no need. You can go above that. You can go beyond that." So then Krishna knew the heart of Uddhava, that although Uddhava was actually a devotee of Krishna, he was still not at the level of prema. He was not even at the level of bhava. So in order to make Uddhava relish bhava bhakti, prema bhakti, Krishna, sorry about that. So Krishna devised a strategy. And Krishna said, "My dear Uddhava, I have a proposal for you that can you please take my message to Nanda Baba, to Mother Jashoda, and to all the Brajabasis, to the gopis, and my dearest Srimati Radharani. Can you do that for me? Can you take my message to them?" And then Uddhava said, "Of course, I'm your devotee. I will do anything for you, Krishna. Whatever you tell me, I will do that." So then Krishna wrote letters. He wrote a special letter for Nanda Baba. He wrote a special letter for Mother Jashoda. He wrote a special letter for the gopis. He wrote a special letter for the gopas and a special letter for Srimati Radharani. And he handed it all over to Uddhava and said, "Please go to Nandagaon, go to Vrindavan and deliver my message to the Brajavasis." And Uddhava, he set out on this mission of Krishna. So Uddhava, he crossed the Jamuna. You know, when we are coming from Mathura into Vrindavan, we have to cross the Jamuna, crossing the bridge. So Uddhava crossed the Jamuna and he entered into the Brajabhumi. As soon as he entered Brajabhumi, Uddhava felt some difference. And then as soon as he came on the outskirts of Nanda Gaon, the village of Nanda Baba, he saw that there were some farmers who were working. And it was about to be sundown. Dusk was coming in. It was early evening at that time when Uddhava was entering. And then Uddhava, he had a very special quality. He actually had the complexion of Krishna and he looks like Krishna. He's got the same, you know, Shama Varana because he was so devoted to Krishna. He developed that same complexion as Krishna. And the Brajavasis, the farmers who were working in the fields outside Nandagaon, they had last experienced that Krishna had gone away with Akrura on a chariot. So anytime a chariot would come, they would say, "Oh, is it our Kanha? Is Kanha back? Has Kanha come back?" So they all came, rushed and surrounded Uddhava. And they said, "Oh, is this our Kanha? He looks like Kanha." They thought from a distance that this is Krishna who has come back and they just ran in jubilation. But then as soon as they saw Uddhava, they said, "No, no, no. This is not our Kanha. Our Kanha is not like this. There's something different. This one must be the cousin of Kanha. This is Uddhava." So Uddhava offered his obeisances to the Brajvasis. And he said, "Yes, yes, I have come here with a message from Krishna for all of you. And I want to deliver this message that I have from Krishna to all of you. So, my dear Brajvasis, can you tell me? I want to first tell this message to Nanda Baba, to Jashoda Maya. Tell me, how can I go to their home? Where is the palace of Nanda Baba?" So, the Brajavasis who were there on the fields, they said, "Oh, Dhava, it is not at all difficult to find Nanda Baba's palace. All you have to do is that you see this Neher. Neher means in Hindi, Neher in English, of course, it means a canal. You know, like a small stream of water. You know, a small stream when it flows down, that's called like a canal or, you know, stream of water. So it's like a sprout or like a bank, like a branch of the main lake that comes out. So it's in Hindi, it's called a Neher. So the Brajbasi said, "You see this Neher? You see the stream of water? You can just follow this, and where this Neher ends, where the canal ends, that is the palace of Nanda Baba." So Uddhava, he said, "Oh, okay. I did not know that Jamuna has branched out like this. I just crossed the river Jamuna a little while ago. I did not know that a branch of Jamuna is also flowing here. I did not know that," Uddhava said. And the Brajbasi said that, "My dear Uddhava, this is not anything to do with Jamuna. This is not the Jamuna at all. Rather, this is actually the tears of love of Jashoda Maya and Nanda Baba. They are crying day in and day out. They are crying in separation from Krishna. Since the day that Krishna has left to Mathura, they are just crying and their tears of love has made this canal." And hearing this, Uddhava was completely just shocked that how can anyone love Krishna like this to this extent? So then Uddhava, he followed the advice of the Brajvasis and he just followed that canal. He walked alongside the canal And he actually then reached a rundown palace. You know how, like a ghost place, how it would be like if for years together someone does not live at a home, how would that place look? There were cobwebs all around. The main gate had webs and leaves and dry leaves, as if no one goes in, no one comes out. It does not even look that someone could be living in such a place. And the Brajbasi said, yes, yes, this is Nanda Bhavan. This is where Nanda Baba is. This is where Jashoda Maya is. Please go, please go. And then, as soon as Uddhava just opened the gate, it made a shrieking sound. And then, hearing that sound, an old lady, she was walking with a stick. She could not even stand straight. And she was, her eyes were drooping down, her face was drooping down. She was so old that the skin on her body, there were only skin and bones. There was no flesh in her body. It was totally just emaciated body. And Uddhava said, who is this old lady? He asked the Brajabasi. And the Brajabasi said, this is Jashoda Maya. Look at what her condition has become in separation from our Kanta. She just keeps crying. She does not eat anything. She does not do anything other than cry in separation from Krishna. Uddhava could not believe his eyes. Uddhava just went prostrated obeisance, and Jashoda Maya said, oh, Uddhava, you have come. Has Kanha sent you? Has Kanha sent you to me? What has he told you? Tell me, come inside. And Nanda Baba came out, and that was the same condition of Nanda Baba too. When both of them were there, they just, welcomed Uddhava, they sat him down, and Jashoda Maya, although she was so eager to hear about Krishna, but still, she said, Uddhava, please wait. You have come from a long journey. Let me prepare something for you. So Jashoda Maya went into her kitchen, but there was nothing in the kitchen. So she told her neighbor that, do you have little milk, little sugar, little rice? I want to make, little sweet rice for Uddhava who has come. So the neighbors gave her some ingredients, and Ma Jashoda quickly made some sweet rice and brought it out in a bowl. Her hands were just shivering when she brought out. She couldn't even hold it straight. And she came and offered that to Uddhava. And Uddhava just started eating that. And that was nectarian sweet rice. And Uddhava was so moved, completely astonished by the love of Nanda Baba and Jashoda Maya. At the same time, our acharyas explain that what was that one factor that was able to, why Mother Jashoda and Nanda Baba were able to hold on to their life? Why was that happening? Because they knew that Krishna, although physically absent over there, but still he was personally present with them. That was not allowing them to leave their bodies. That was how their life was being maintained, that they could feel the presence of Krishna, although he was physically absent from them. And the tears that they were crying, this is exactly what the sixth verse of Sri Siksastakam is Mahaprabhu is teaching. And how then Uddhava met with the gopis, and then how the gopis were expressing their intense desire to listen to Krishna, his message, and how Srimati Radharani, how in her divine ecstasy of love, she started talking to, a bumblebee, a honeybee. That is Brahmar Gita. So we will definitely discuss that in one of our coming sessions. But Uddhava, seeing this deep attachment of love of the Brajabasi. What did Uddhav? He spent couple of months in Vrindavan, and every day he would associate with Mother Jashoda and Nanda Baba, the Gopas and the Gopis. He would read out messages of Krishna to the Gopis. And the day that he was leaving, he actually made a prayer. He said that I want to be a gulma lata, a creeper on a blade of grass in the holy land of Vrindavan, so that one day the gopis they would touch their lotus feet on my head, and I would be blessed with the dust of their lotus feet on my head, and that way I can have some love for Krishna. This is how Uddhava was completely transformed, from a Jnana Mishra Bhakta, from how he was always very knowledgeable about Krishna, but he was missing the Bhava Bhakti. He was missing the Prema Bhakti. And Krishna's mission of sending Uddhava to Vrindavan was achieved because by the mercy of the Brajabasi, Uddhava was able to attain Prema Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti. This is the glory of the Brajabasis and how the Brajabasis maintained their life in separation from Krishna.
So as we know that these 8 verses are like precious pearls of Shikshashtakam, and there is a string that com- that combines them, keeping them together as one nice offering. In fact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that this string is of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. And here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur very, very nicely, he's explaining that the first 5 verses are Sambandha. And then uh, the next all the 8 verses of Shikshashtakam, they are Abhideya, and because they are all about service, serving the Lord, and Prayojana is the final verse. So,
So when we worship Sambandha Vigraha, Radha Madan Mohan as the Sambandha Vigraha. We worship Radha Govinda Devji as the Abhideya Vigraha. And the sixth verse of Sri Shikshashtakam, we are actually stepping into Prayojana. So the last 3 verses of the Shikshashtakam are actually establishing Prayojana. And we worship Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ji as Prayojana Vigraha to re-establish our lost relationship with Krishna. So in conclusion, we also know that how these Shikshashtakam verses, they directly correspond to the Gopi Geet verses, the verses that are sung by the gopis in separation from Krishna. And this sixth verse of Sri Shikshashtakam, they directly correspond to the ninth and the 10th verse of Sri Gopi Geet. Actually, sorry, ninth and the 18th verse of Sri Gopi Geet, where actually the gopis, they are telling Krishna that how Krishna, you are your glories, your nectarian words, they are the only thing that can save, they are the life and soul for those who are surrendered unto you. And how Krishna's appearance vanquishes the distress of everyone. And the gopis are lovingly crying for Krishna's beautiful association. They are saying that your association, Krishna, gives us life. And they are telling Krishna again and again that please, Krishna, bless us with your association, which is the medicine that can counteract the disease that we have in our heart, which we are feeling in your separation. So the disease is your separation. And we are feeling that your association will help us like that medicine. So the ninth and the 18th verse of Sri Gopi Gita correspond to this sixth verse of Sri Shikshashtakam. So the ninth verse is
Tava taptajeevanam kavibhiritam kalpashapam Shravanamangalam Srimadasatam Bhuvi Grinanti Te Bhurida Jana Vrajamana Kasha Vyaktirangate Vrijinahan Chalam Vishwamangalam Tyajamanacha Swastrihatmana Swajanare Praja Yannishudan. So this was from Sri Gopi Gita, and with this we end the section here of Sri Shikshashtakam. And today's japa tip is I organize my life to make japa the most important activity of my day.
Haribo.
Because if we don't consciously organize our life in a way that it supports our japa, it is possible that some aspect of our life may be undermining good japa. For example, if we stay up late, uh, I may not get up early. Rising late then can negatively affect my japa. If I read book or eat something which is not related to Krishna, it'll have a different effect on my japa. If I criticize devotees, it'll affect me in different ways. If I allow myself to be so busy that I have little time or no time for japa or to do service or to read, then that will also affect the quality of the japa, and our japa will be just mechanical, and we'll just try to get our rounds done rather than actually allowing the gentle breeze of Krishna's holy name to attract our heart. So other things we can do to enhance japa, for example, by giving the holy names to others, by preaching or distributing books, that empowers our chanting of japa. So this japa affirmation makes us look into our life and consider what we are doing, anything that will undermine our japa. So today's japa tip again is I organize my life to make japa the most important activity of the day.
Haribo. So that we'll conclude our session by dedicating the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to our dearest Anjudi and her wonderful family. We dedicate the chanting to our dearest Himangi Mataji's mother-in-law, to our dearest brother, to our dearest Bhakti Mataji and Krishna Sharanam Prabhu, our dearest Hari Prasad Prabhu, our dearest Amrita Radhika and her wonderful family, and for little Mehak. So may the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Nrsingadev, grant protection and fearlessness to everyone. Jai Nrsingadev Bhagwan ki Jai.
मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Nistatar Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Before we open up the line, here are the quiz questions for today.
First, which stage of bhakti is signified by the sixth verse of Sri Siksastakam?
What are the two characteristics of the stage of bhava?
Third, why was Krishna crying in his chamber?
Fourth, what was the canal in front of Nanda Bhavan?
Fifth, which verse of Sri Gopi Gita corresponds to the sixth verse of Sri Siksastakam?
Sixth, what is the japa tip of the day? Thank you so much, dearest Ananga Mohini Gopika, for this fantastic quiz questions for today. Thank you so much.
So let's open up the lines for questions and comments.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, able to hear you. Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji Dandvat Pranam. All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. First of all, thank you so much Mataji and Prabhuji for this wonderful session and heart melting pastimes of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. Before that, Prabhuji, thank you for your service for adjusting the mic when Mataji is saying the pastime. I noticed that because we want to hear it properly, you adjust it all the times. It's very difficult. I know that.
But were you
Giving
able
the
to hear
lecture.
it clearly, or
Yes,
was the
Prabhuji.
volume low?
During no, for me it is fine. During the session, only in the bhajan alone, it's going back and
Oh,
coming. So
okay.
other than that, I'm able to hear properly in my mobile.
Okay.
So, Prabhu, let us
So,
ask you one thing, if you don't mind, that without any bhajan, without the mic, was the Mahamantra, when we used to do the kirtan without the mic, was it better?
same for Mataji. We
Same,
feel
okay.
because
Okay.
yeah. So
It
whatever
goes up
now
and
we
down. Okay.
yes. And it is today's the raga. I mean the meter you sang, right? It is very very wonderful. We get the mode of separation. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So it's very very wonderful one, and we come to know many things about Baba Prabhuji and Mataji. You explained the two different characteristics, right? Sudurlabha and that moksha lagutapkit thing. Yes, first time I'm hearing that one. So that the two characteristics, and you said the most thing I liked it like Krishna will attract when the devotee in Bhava stage. That has touched my heart. Oh my God! But still, if you say that Bhava stage also, I could remember our one of our devotee like Chada brother, right, Prabhuji? If yeah, it is possible even at Baba stage we may fall down, right? Right,
Yes, that's it.
Mataji?
Yes,
Yeah.
we need to be in the association of devotees all the time. That's why we
Yeah,
can, even at the bhava stage, we cannot say that, oh, I'm above association of devotees. I don't need any association.
yeah. Value of a devotee association is most important. It's most important that we understood. And one more thing, like you explained about that Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojana. This verse both includes both Prabhuji and Mataji, like Prayojana and Abhidaya. This
No,
verse includes.
Sambandh,
Yeah,
no.
Abhideya and Prayojana, because Abhideya, Sambandha is the first 5 verses.
Yeah.
Abhideya is all 8 verses is Abhideya. And
Okay.
Prayojana is the last 3 verses. So
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
today we stepped foot into Prayojana.
Prayojana. Oh, that's good. That's good, Mataji. And the past tense. Oh my God. Really, heart is melting. So how they were separated from Krishna physically. I mean, they able to feel the presence of Lord Krishna but still we get that feel in our heart how Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, even at her feeling stage also, she is ready to serve Uddhava, right, Mataji? A trembling hand, shaking hand, she's going out and getting something for Uddhava. A normal human being will not, I'm especially me, I will not do that. I'll always feel, but she wants to serve. How long you took a journey and came here to see us and giving a message. It's really wonderful. And one more question, Mataji Prabhuji. So how Gopi is identified? This is not our Kana, this is Uddhava, because he doesn't have a more Makuta. I mean, peacock feather is not there. Sorry
Krishna is
asking this
Krishna.
question.
Krishna is
Okay.
Krishna. The Vrajabasis and the pure devotees, they can immediately know that this is Krishna and this is not anyone else. You know, like in Vaikuntha, if we go to Vaikuntha, everyone there looks like Lord Vishnu. They have the Swarupya,
Four, yeah,
mukti,
four.
right? They have the
Yes.
four-handed form. But there's a difference that only the Lord Vishnu has the Kaustubha Mani and the Srivatsa. He has Srivatsa.
And if
So,
you also see if there are twins, two twins, you will see that the
Okay.
mother can really identify which twin is which one, even though they look the
Correct.
same, but they have
Yeah.
different characteristics. So similarly, the gopis are really, they know Krishna from their heart. So when you're so close to someone, you can immediately identify, even if their external features are same.
Yeah. Yeah. Even they
although
passed him also.
Uddhava, although Uddhava, he had the complexion of Krishna, but Krishna's beauty transcends Uddhava's complexion. So he didn't have the beauty like Krishna, like lotus eyes, lotus lips, beautiful hair. He does not have all of that.
Everything is Mathuram Mataji. As you say, now I feel so happy when you say about Krishna. He's good, like that, like that means heart is overwhelming. Already I was that feel because whenever you both says that mother crying and Krishna cries, now I will cry. I don't know. I'm getting that feel. So you're praising Krishna means I feel so happy. So that's very nice. I don't know. I feel that one. So everything is Madhuram. Krishna is Madhuram. If he speaks, if he sees, if he talk, if he do anything, I feel very, very Madhuram. In the photos also, deities form also. Thank you so much for a wonderful session and with wonderful japa tip also. The most important thing in our life is we need to do the japa. More important that I understood, Prabhuji, Mataji. Anyway, thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I'll be back in a minute, but please continue.
Anjali, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe Devi, Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session with so many takeaways, and it just pep up early morning in India, like for the full day. Your classes are so wonderful, and wishing you a very very happy Ganesh Chaturdashi today,
Hi.
and to all
Wishing
the
everyone a
devotees.
very happy Ganesh Chaturthi too. Jai.
Yes, and it's so true about bhava. Like, bhava, bhakti and bhava is the most, I think so, sabse upar hai.
Hmm.
There's nothing can beat it. And uh, actually nowadays, uh, in the evening, our Acharya ji comes for Garun Puran and Bhagavad Gita, and after that, my father's younger brother, we all sit down and he will tell us so many pastimes, such wonderful pastimes of Krishna, Lord Krishna, Radharani, and of great devotees.
Hmm.
And yesterday, we all of the children, we were feeling so blessed that we are born in a God, so much of grace and mercy,
Hmm.
like that it comes so naturally. It is not like, we have to put effort into it. And we were feeling so thankful to Lord and so blessed. We said ये सहज, like my Chachaji's son was telling, ये हमारे घर में सहज आता है, and we should always thank Krishna for that. We are not putting in effort, and we enjoy so much that we were sitting for we just sit for till 10 o'clock at night, and we are just talking about Lord. So today I was connecting so well with the class. It was only bhava. That's it. Like, bhava is sabse upar hai.
Correct.
And
Yes.
it's so beautiful. And I think so our elders, they just, obviously the knowledge is not there so much, but unka bhav, unki bhakti, like, I always say danvat pranam hai unki bhakti ko aur unke bhav ko.
So true.
Nothing can touch that bhava, the love for Krishna. I can see in their eyes that they are everything. Before they even take anything is offered first to Krishna, and then they will accept it. So it is only the bhava, the pure, so much of purity, so much of devotion, so much of love for Krishna, which just comes naturally. And it is really, so mind-blowing it is, like, and so much to learn from them. And today you said about bhava, and I could just, was just connect so well, that bhava and bhakti. It's so much of there, and feel really, really blessed with the association of the devotees always. It just takes us more closer to Krishna, and our path is more. And he said such a beautiful thing. तुम हरि की इच्छा करो, and Hari तुम्हारी सारी इच्छा पूरी करेगा. Such a beautiful line. Like, they were just, and I think these pastimes, I hear more and more, and I feel the like, we become more and more closer to Krishna. So beautiful they are. I just wanted to ask you one question. And like, as my mother has passed away, and then now there is like the customs are there, that there is some there, they say this is now sutak, and first thing the people they do is that we don't go and pray. First thing is like, okay, in our customs for 13 days there should be no puja. So why it is like that?
It is just like, when there is a childbirth also in the family, that also is sutak, because it is said that, the mother is also contaminated for 40 days, like that. But we know the reasons why, as women, why at that time it is considered to be contaminated. So both the mother and the child, they're kept in seclusion, and special care is taken for them during that period, and they are not allowed to do anything connected to doing any puja or doing any service to the Lord. The same also happens during the death of a family member, that there is, it is considered. Now, when I say it is considered, that it is impure, because the body has left. The body has left in that way. However, in devotee culture, in spiritual culture, we had asked this question to Jananivas Prabhu, because there was a death in our family, in my parents' family, when my grandfather died, left his body. At that time, my mother asked this question. We went and asked this question to Jananivas Prabhu, that should we, do, worship at home, or what should we do? So then Jananivas Prabhu said that as Vaishnavas, we do not have any obligation in that sense. And that when we are worshipping Krishna, that we can do that. There is no problem. We can light the lamp. We can, offer the deities bhoga. We can continue to doing any of our normal spiritual activities. In fact, Jananivas Prabhu said that even brahmacharis, who in Mayapur, who they dress Radha Madhava, and Narsinghadev and Panchatattva, when any of their family members also, they leave their body, that they are not stopped to render service to the deities at the temple. However, Jananivas Prabhu said, one other thing. He said that, but when we are living in society, as a society norm, like supposing if, we have to go to our family where, we have our neighbors, our society, and they are saying that these norms, of society should be followed, like these 13 days of Sutak should be followed, or this should be followed. Then he said there's nothing wrong in following them. There's nothing wrong, but it is not compulsion for a devotee to do it. He said that in that way, So when we are living in society, there are certain things that we can do, just to, so that, devotees, their actions are not criticized, but we can offer to the deities. We don't have to go to any temple, just to keep that social norm, society norm. But otherwise, there is no restrictions for Vaishnavas. If we are initiated, if we are, Vaishnavas, then there is no restrictions. That is the verdict of Janani Prabhu.
Okay.
Also, because it is said that for 13 days the soul is wandering near the body, especially those who are attached to their body, not everyone, but especially those who are in this materialistic conception of I and mine. They're attached to the body. The soul is hovering around the body for 13 days. And then after that, they are forced by Yamadutas. But for devotees, we are eager, we are attached to Krishna, wherever Krishna takes us. So for devotees, they may not be, hovering around the body so much. They may be detached. And that is another thing about the bhava stage of advancement, that and it's a very rare thing, as it said, is sudurlabha. But whoever has achieved the stage of bhava, they think that I am Krishna and Krishna is mine. Every time, not just sometimes, but every moment they think that. We think, oh, I am this body, and and all the things related to this body and the relatives that are related to this body are mine. And that's how our conception is. But someone who's bhava stage, he thinks, oh, I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. The conception of I and mine changes. So at someone at that stage, if they leave the body, they are not really attached to the body. But generally, general people, the soul wanders around the body for 13 days. And that's why they say, Sutak kar jata hai.
And that's why the Pindadan is done, where the soul is actually fed Vishnu Prasad. So Janani Prabhu said that if the devotees are taking Prasad every day of their life, and even during the 13 days, then what is the problem? It's like we are offering Vishnu Prasad to the soul anyways. But for karmis, for them, they do it only on these special days, So on the 13th day, when the soul is offered Vishnu Prasad, then it is said that the soul, stops hovering around like that. So that's the general conception.
Yeah, I think so. It's more like, the traditions which we are just following it blindly. And sometimes it just happens that also. That's what sometimes I feel like, what is happening from so many years, we are just following it blindly. And your explanation is so good. Like, if we are like devotional and so then prasad is offered every day. So then what is the thing? And then we are staying in the society, so we have to follow the rules and norms of the society.
Certain norms of the society,
Yeah.
so that, our actions don't get criticized, that we are not doing something which the society thinks to be right,
Yeah, in our house, like it is only the daughters can go and they can light the lamp and they can offer prasad. So I was so blessed that I'm the only daughter and I was allowed. So when I just because we have Laddu Gopal, and so this is no, Laddu Gopal cannot stay. We have to offer bhoga to him every day.
Yeah.
And Krishna. So they say that okay, yes, that you can go because you are the daughter. So we just follow those rules, and then you can light the lamp and you can do, but others are not allowed except the daughters.
Yeah.
So that is the thing in our house. So so at least deities are taking care, which I was still
Yes.
little satisfied. Otherwise, I was saying we are doing everything except offering, like we are eating without offering, but
Mm.
somehow, but then I said, okay, let me just ask this question was coming in my mind. So,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to clarify. And thanks for your wonderful explanation. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much,
Hare
too.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Pravan Mataji, please accept my most humble
Hare
obeisances.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
So it was such a wonderful association, and I mean, I wanted to, kind of, like give some feedback, but somehow or other, I couldn't. But so today, I think is a good time. So, so from like last lectures, I mean, like from last week, I mean, sometimes I used to, listen the lecture, I mean the recording lecture. So, so let's say when it is live, there is definitely like it's like interaction. But when I also had the recording, I mean, I also felt so then sometimes I can give go back and forward. So I can even like say explore more. So what I wanted to like acknowledge is like the slideshow. Like the other days you were like uh, those slideshow. I mean, basically, I felt that is so wonderful. I mean, that just connects. I mean, like I'll say, let's say for an example, I mean, uh, let's say I knew like Rupa Goswami is like he is Rupa Manjuri, but
Mm.
but the way you explained, I mean, with the slideshow, and all those beautiful explanation, all the beautiful features about the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it was just top class. I mean, like so I mean I felt that personally, like that increased my understanding about the whole concept and about kind of, I mean, at least now I feel that yes, why Rupa Goswami is so exalted, and why let's I mean, now actually I can connect more that like all this, like like this Nana Shastra Vichar like these verses, that basically manifest through like how wonderful. I mean, before like my idea, okay, he is a pure devotee, but the connection is like like when I heard from both of you, it was like it gives me like I'll say next step for me, honestly. So I'm really thankful. So basically I have two questions. The first of one is like so as a neophyte, as a practicing, like as a aspiring neophyte devotee. So like as I was saying, like Krishna is always in Vrindavan. He never leaves Vrindavan, and he's in Vrindavan in his bhava form. So as a neophyte, how could you perceive that? I mean, like, can you please share some more insight on that, please?
As a neophyte, how can I?
Like, I mean,
See.
how can I experience
Proceed.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. As a neophyte, we cannot experience it. But in order to experience, like Krishna's name is non-different, Abhinnatvam Nam Namino, than him. But in the neophyte stage, we may not be able to experience that. At that time, we have to rely on our faith in the previous acharyas, our faith in the advanced devotees, and we see through their eyes because they can experience, like Srila Prabhupada can experience. I cannot experience, for example, but Srila Prabhupada can, and I have faith in Srila Prabhupada. So I will try as much as possible cultivate my eagerness to experience that so that one day Krishna will reciprocate and reveal himself to us in Vrindavan. But till then, we just theoretically accept it based on faith and try to act upon that faith that we have. We may not be able to experience because uh, until we reach that stage and Krishna decides to reveal to us, we may not be able to experience. But that is the stage of, that is the process of bhakti, is that we continue based on faith, adho shraddha, then sadhu sangha, and then we see other devotees experiencing it, our faith increases. We get a glimpse of that faith. Krishna gives a glimpse of that experience. But unless Krishna decides to give based on how he is pleased with us, how much ever we try artificially, we cannot get that experience. Unless we are eager for it, unless we are doing it in a mood to please Krishna, then Krishna will reciprocate. So, as neophyte, we follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas, Mahajano Yena Gata Sapantha, and then if we continue doing it with eagerness and devotion, Krishna will reciprocate and he will make us experience as well.
And the more we listen, the more, the Prabhupada always says that the best way to get to know a person is that you hear about him, you research about him, you understand him. What is his nature? What are his qualities? What are his likes? What are his dislikes? Who is this person? Try to get to know that person. And how can we get to know about Krishna? We get to know about Krishna from the Guru. The Guru reveals Krishna, and by Krishna's mercy, then Krishna will bless us with bhava. So we'll be able to realize Krishna. So that comes by the mercy of the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So when we keep these three things in our life, then by practicing it, sometimes in between, Krishna gives us a taste, like a drop of honey on our tongue, and we one more, we want more. Have you ever seen a little baby, if you put a drop of honey in their tongue, you see how happy they get, and then they want more. They want more, they want more. So we have to be like that baby, wanting more. When Krishna gives that little drop of honey, of experiencing him at the time of chanting or at the time of doing any service, we are blessed with some ecstasy. So that time we have to stick on to that. When we stick on to that and we keep doing that more and more and more with more vigor and enthusiasm, like Prabhu said, and in the association of devotees, then one day we will be able to experience Krishna.
So the short answer to your question is, we can experience Krishna in the neophyte stage by Shastra Chakshu, through the eyes of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, scriptures.
Thank you very much, Prabhu Mataji. So another question, which is like a few minutes ago, Prabhu, you are discussing about some answer like, I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So recently, like last week, I was reading one book of Gorgobindo Maharaj, Embankment of Separation, which was like, to me, it's like fantastic book, so in that book, actually I didn't knew that before. So when I was reading, so I found that Srimati Radharani's mood is leftist mood and Chandrabali mood is rightist mood. So like this leftist mode is Krishna is mine, and Chandrabali's mode is I am Krishna. So let's say if we say these two things together, I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. So, but at the same time, as a Gaudiya Vaishnava, we always follow Srimati Radharani, because she is the topmost in our line. So then if we say I am Krishna's, then basically that is going to Chandrabali's mode, which is Gorgobindo Maharaj was explaining that. Yes, this. Please excuse me for that. I mean, I'm so sorry to say like this, but actually this is just like.
Please forgive me that I'm laughing so much because as when we do Brajmandal Parikrama, at that time when we are approaching Barshana, there is a small temple at the outskirts of Barshana. And some devotees started going inside that temple. And then Ishtadev Prabhu, who is a disciple of Srila Loknath Maharaj, and he's been like the parikrama man from the day of its inception. So Ishtadev Prabhu said, hey, no, nobody will go inside the temple. Don't go inside that temple. Don't go inside that temple. And he, brought everyone out from that temple. And then devotees were shocked that what happened? Whose temple is that? He said, Arey, wo Chandravali ka temple hai, udhar mat jao. So basically, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, yes, we are, Radhanugas. We are Srimati Radharani's followers. And there's no doubt that, yes, she has the Bama, the leftist mood, of that, yes, she's very dominant. She's very dominant. Even if we see Satyabhama, she is, she is actually Chandravali. And Rukmini Devi is Srimati Radharani's expansion. Satyabhama is Chandravali in Dwarka Leela. So Satyabhama is very submissive. You see that Krishna, he actually enjoys more with the leftist, side of Srimati Radharani. That is the topmost. There's, no doubt about that. So therefore, although Chandravali Devi, I mean, as the followers of Srimati Radharani, we are actually advised not to, speak about the opposite camp, and if we have to get the submissive factor, then we can even get that from Vishakha Devi, who is the dearmost associate of Srimati Radharani, and stick to Srimati Radharani's camp. Don't go to the opposite camp, so that we can, really experience the line of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, so to speak.
At the same time, from our point of view, I mean, even going to the level of discriminating between Chandravali and Radharani, at this stage, we're not qualified to discuss that, because Chandravali Devi is also Krishna's very dear devotee, and she is fulfilling a particular role. Because without Chandravali Devi, Krishna and Radha's attraction towards each other may not grow. Chandravali's role is to fan the attraction of Radha and Krishna. In fact, the internal mood of Radharani is, oh, Radha and Krishna should meet. Chandravali's internal mood is that I want Radha and Krishna to enjoy more and more. But if there is some kind of a masala, or if there is some kind of a separation, then the sambhoga will be much more enjoyable. So Chandravali is in the spiritual world. Remember, she's in the spiritual world. No one can enter the spiritual world if there is material envy in the heart. So externally, it looks like, oh, Chandravali, Radharani, they're envious and because rivals and things like that. But it is all just a way of increasing Krishna Prem in everyone's hearts. In spiritual world, Krishna Prem just keeps increasing and increasing in different ways, in different leelas, different directions. So at this stage, both are worshipable to us, because they are in the spiritual world, and these pastimes will be revealed to us, their real import, when we come to a high level like Gaur Govinda Maharaj and like others, but at the advanced level.
And also that, yes, Srimati Radharani, if you continue to read that book, it is further explained by Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj that Srimati Radharani is the personification of all the rasas. Everything is present in her, but there are some predominating bhavas in her. So that would be the Bama bhava that is there predominantly, but she's also extremely submissive. So in that sense, she is definitely the personification of all the rasas, everything. She's complete, and she is, like Prabhu said, Chandravali Devi and Srimati Radharani, they are beyond even any kind of discussion for us in the mundane level. We are not even going to be able to comprehend it. So therefore, just stick to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Srinitai, and continue our bhajan till these intense topics are revealed to us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhu. This is so wonderful explanation. Actually, my intention is just to know that, why, but there is nothing challenging or something. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, fantastic question. Very nice question.
Yeah. And my last question, which is, so let's say uh, let's say we haven't met, let's say, a certain Vaishnava, and somehow or other by hearing from some other devotees, or like somehow or other, let's say if we commit any offense which he or she doesn't know, but let's say I am committing, let's say, mentally offense, but but we have never met, we like like never face to face, or you can say just by maybe by hearing from someone or something, like someone or other. So in that case, like what should be done to be kind of avoid the offense? Can you please share some? Thank you.
Well, in general, yes, we hear so many things about so many devotees. In general, we should just look at the good qualities of devotees because we are who we associate with. And if we associate in our minds with the negative, so called negative qualities of that devotee, then we are associating with that negative quality and it might come into us as the law of the material nature. So we should try to just focus on good qualities. If we hear some negative quality, we can focus, okay, let's see what are good qualities in this devotee. Let me try to focus on that. This devotee likes to eat the Lord's prasad. That's a good quality. He chants the holy name. That's a good quality. They are very service oriented, or so many different things could be. Everyone has good and bad qualities. It depends on us what quality we choose to focus on. And it is easier to focus on the negative quality, but we must challenge ourselves to focus on the good qualities of the devotee. If we are hearing one bad quality, we should meditate on two good qualities of that devotee. If we don't know that devotee personally, try to find out some good qualities about that devotee. Or the devotee who told us the negative quality, we can ask them, Prabhu, can you tell me two good qualities of that devotee as well? Because no one is always bad. So that way we are training our mind to focus on the good. That way we associate with the good qualities. And then for our spiritual advancement, we will keep advancing in Krishna consciousness. Uh, the other thing is, if we have focused on that negative quality and then we have made kind of an offense in our mind or in our words to another devotee, that devotee may not know about it. So, they may not feel offended, but Krishna knows about it. Krishna has heard, has perceived our negative qualities. So whenever an offense is made, there are two components to it. One is the devotee feels offended. The second component is Krishna feels offended that that devotee was criticized. So in order to overcome Krishna's component of Krishna feeling offended, we must serve that devotee and please that devotee. We should make the devotee happy. So if that devotee we have, does not know that we offended them, we can still go and serve them in such a way that makes them happy. So we don't need to, for example, beg forgiveness in one sense, because sometimes blatantly begging forgiveness has an opposite effect sometimes. So we just try to serve them to please them, and that devotee may be perplexed. Why is this devotee trying to make me happy? But we just do it, and that will overcome the Krishna's component of offense.
And like, let's say it's like we're let's say in different places, like there is no chance of meeting. Then in that case, how could you serve?
Maybe glorify that devotee to another devotee. That way you have Krishna is seeing that, oh, okay, he's glorifying as well. He's trying to serve remotely.
Because you see, the thing is that in Kali Yuga, there are so many things that are moving around in the name of truth, but they're actually not. They are actually not at all the truth unless we know it ourselves. Sometimes, even when we see things, we may have, falsely judged it. We may have falsely misjudged it. We do not know how things are happening in the mind of a devotee. So therefore, Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Bhigyana Bujhai, that we cannot judge the activities of a Vaishnava. We must remember this. And therefore, this is the way that we can really counteract it, not by thinking that, oh, I should not commit offenses. Oh, I should not commit offenses. Then the mind will just concentrate, oh, offenses. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Rather, you should just train the mind. Let us glorify the devotee. Let us glorify the devotee. So we are not even bringing up, the mind, Prabhupada said, is like a child. If we say, don't take the knife, the child will come and take the knife. But if we say, take the candy, then the child will be very happy and take the candy. So similarly, and drop the knife, not even want to look at the knife. So similarly, if we train our mind to just glorify Vaishnavas, just to see the good in the Vaishnavas, then there's no possibility of ever committing any offenses.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I'm so grateful to both of you for explaining in such great detail and spending your valuable time. And thank you very much, Mataji and Prabhu. I really appreciate it. And my humble obeisances to both of you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic questions.
For your very sincere questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Accept our humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Beautiful explanation of the words. And the question answering session is even more interesting actually. And we learned so many lessons. Thank you for answering all those questions so nicely. And in the beginning, the sound was little low, but now your question answer session is so nice. So I don't know whatever you did, but this sound is very good. So again, thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, it was a very nice explanation of the questions. And we learned so many lessons. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we can continue tomorrow. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Pranam.